World where climate change is reaching alarming levels. Archaeological studies over the years have suggested that actually ancient copper mining has contributed to pollution and global warming. However, an Israeli archaeologist and professor at Tel Aviv University has been studying the famous mines of Timna with his team, these mines dating back thousands of years. Now he has published a new study proving scientifically that copper mining did not emit poisonous gases. Here's more in my next report. We know global warming, pollution, and unfathomable natural disasters are a reality that all of humanity has to grapple with. But whose fault is it really?
We know about the modern time, our era, that we are harming the environment. The modern metal industry is very detrimental. It's horrible. And also talking about climate change. It's something that is anthropogenic, based on our activity, and it's real.
Scholars, archaeologists, and researchers over the years have blamed humans from ancient times.
There was a publication a few years ago about the legacy, the polluted legacy of King Solomon, and all of the disastrous activities. But there is some projection of the reality of the modern time into the past, saying that humans, starting probably from the agricultural revolution, this is when we started impacting in a very harmful way the entire environment. But we have to be very careful not to throw out the baby with the bathwater here.
And archaeologist and Tel Aviv University professor Erez Ben-Yosef has been leading digs for 15 years in Timna in southern Israel. Visiting Timna is like going back in time, literally.
Timna it's an amazing place to study ancient metal production. It's one of the best preserved places of ancient metal production anywhere that represents 7,000 years of history of metal production. And we work there to study the ancient technology and the ancient cultures and people that were working there through the ages, including during the biblical time.
Copper mines churned out antiquity's most revolutionary discovery, one that dates back to the 6th millennium BC during the Neolithic times, and literally changed the ancient world.
It was a major discovery, you know.
It's like electricity.
So, yeah, like electricity in the modern era. It's like to take a stone and to make it into a different material, which you can then melt and produce tools, weapons, agricultural tools, ornaments. It was an amazing change in technology.
And the proof is in the pudding.
We have good evidence, radiocarbon dates and other evidence that this was indeed the source of wealth of the early Israelites, the copper mines of Timna. Now a lot of these narratives in the Bible make sense.
In early 2023, we visited Professor Ben-Yosef and his team as they were doing an important dig, trying to get to the bottom of a mystery. Did ancient copper mining pollute the planet and poison human beings?
When you produce copper, there is of course residues of copper left, and also lead. And lead is actually very poisonous, we know. So I was worried that maybe we are getting poisoned by the lead in the soil. What we did basically is a detailed soil survey with studying the chemistry of the soil and mapping the distribution of all the different elements in two different sites from two different periods. One of them is from the Bronze Age, about 5,000 years ago, and the other one is from the Iron Age, 3,000 years ago. This is actually copper at King Solomon's mines.
The 15,000-acre national park is dotted with evidence in the rocks themselves. However, these black stones are actually filled with ancient residue called slag.
When you smelt copper, go back to this amazing industry in the past, you need heat, and they had furnaces that looked like small volcanoes. And at the end, there was a lot of kind of lava, molten rock flowing out of the furnace, and this consolidated into a black rock-like material, which is called slag. And this is the vast majority of the waste we see all around us.
So by analyzing what has always been encapsulated inside Israel's largest national park, Professor Ben-Yosef and his team were able to prove that not only were they not poisoned, but neither is the rest of the planet.
The most harmful impact of ancient metal industries or modern metal industries are the gases that are emitted from the furnaces and the byproduct, and these gases you can breathe it, or it goes to the soil. Or the copper we measure in the soil is trapped within tiny fragments of this slag material, meaning that if you swallow it, it most probably won't affect you at all.
Ben-Yosef says it's also a lesson in semantics, extinguishing the sexy headlines claiming ancient pollution with hard evidence.
Our responsibility as scientists is to be much more careful with our conclusions, not to give this kind of people reason for confusion.
Emily Francis, I-24 News.